Hello, welcome to Bragging Rights, Season 3, Episode 30, housed as always at Tribal, sponsored by Comscaff. Don't forget to share an episode with a mate, give us a like, subscribe, don't forget to use your hypes up to 3 times a week. That's about it, innit, for the intros. How are we all, Josh? We'll start with you.
Good.
Thank you.
Sound. Super.
Smashing. It's us.
One word answers.
Yeah, we're out of time. You're always waffling on and telling us stuff we don't care about. Yeah. Just get to the point, do you know what I mean?
Go on then, keep going.
Yeah, it is us to start.
It is us.
We played at home to the Catalans Dragons.
We did, indeed. I wasn't there at this one, unfortunately. I was at work. I'll call it out myself.
You've had a real poor run. You've got a poor run at the minute, haven't you?
Yeah,
You're
I'm hoping. I can't sort tomorrow, unfortunately. We're recording on Monday the 17th. Play Warrington tomorrow. On the Tuesday, hopefully, I'm going to try and sort the Toulouse game out because it's a 5:30 kick-off. Even though I start at 7, might be able to wangle something. So, touch wood.
It's good to work late.
Hopefully be that one.
It's bad
That's
luck.
what I'm going to hopefully try and wangle.
It's bad luck for you. You're really good at getting to a lot of games, especially away. But this is the first time I've known you for a long time. This has fallen really bad for me.
I missed the cut-off date, so we have requests at work. We get up to 4 requests a month where you can say, like, I want this day off, this day off, this day off. I usually do 1 for a home game, 2 for an away game, because I like the old share bit. But yeah, I missed it because I wasn't at work at the point when it went off, so I missed it. So unfortunately, it's just the way it's fallen.
And because of them games, we are going to struggle a bit with talking about the Wire game, which is tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. So when we record next week, there'll be Wire and Toulouse to review. Hopefully, we can get a bit on both of them. Unless anything major happens in either of the games, you might get a bit of a condensed version of both. Or, if a lot happens in the Wire game, you might get a bit more on that. But the reality is, we'll have moved on by then, we'll have the Toulouse game. So you might not get a lot of Wire review because we just can't make it to do a separate podcast. The perks or the pitfalls of being the World Club champions, eh?
That's it, innit? It's like Laura said, how come you playing on a Tuesday? And I was like, because of the World Club Challenge. But how does that affect it? I was like, that was meant to be our game against Warrington in round 2 on that night or that weekend. So we've had to obviously move it back to when there was an available slot during the season.
It'll all be sorted next year when London Broncos come in. We have a 15-team Super League and they'll be able to have a week off each, a bye round. Anyways, the game itself, you said you weren't there. It was our junior takeover round, which I know FC did recently, and it was really, really good. It was really well done. But one of the best things was all the kids had done little drawings of the players, and when they scored a try or made a kick, it would come up on the screen. But they also did it for the announcing of the starting team. And it was quite funny. It got some laughs and some awes in the crowd. But when somebody scored, it was the kid's voice saying who had scored as well. And that was quite nice and cute, and I think it went down really well. So I enjoyed it in the stands.
You could hear it on wireless, as the old folks say. And it come across really well. Obviously, you couldn't see the pictures because it was on the radio, but it come across really well sounded. And the kids just sounded like they were loving it when they were shouting out who'd scored. Like, one of the kids, I don't know who his name was, but he shouted Jack Broadbent, but it was so high-pitched. I'm glad I wasn't wearing earphones. No offence to that little kid, because he must have only been 9, 10 years old or something. I'm not bagging on him, but yeah.
When Jess scored, there's a family that stand near us that we talked to quite a lot, and I think it's one of her sons or one of the kids that goes with them. He'd done the picture for Jess, and as soon as it came on, he was like, "That's me, I drew that." And obviously, yeah, it was good to see, but it actually set the tone for what was a really nice atmosphere for the game. And I wanted to mention this because we've been a bit up and down in Craven Park in the East Stand this year, but I felt like we started quite well. We started with quite a nice atmosphere, and I was quite intrigued with the team selection. We spoke about squad rotation, which we don't get a lot, or we haven't seen a lot under Willie Peters, and actually injuries as well included, but 5 of the starting 13 that started the game were players that were not numbered 1 to 13, which is quite a high percentage for us. We've only got a couple of knocks, at the time. Sue was injured, Morg's still injured. And then 3 out of the 4 people on the bench were not numbered 1 to 17. So people outside of your 1 to 17 as well. So we are doing as best we can that rotation. And it became apparent that one of the reasons that Jordan Desiree wasn't in is he actually had a foot injury and he was walking around with a boot on. So I was expecting him to be in, but actually had an injury. So there was a bigger minutes for people like Sam Luckley and stuff like that. And the game sort of started quite well. I think we had a really strong opening 40. I was really pleased with the way it went. We scored some really good tries. Defence was really good. And there wasn't a lot to say on the first half, other than it was a little bit of a party.
professional by the sound of it. And what I'd seen on the extended highlights and stuff like that, like it just felt like a professional job done. 40 minutes, like when Catalan gave us chances, we took them. You know, it was 4 tries to 1 up at half time, so that's all you can ask for really. 22-6 at half time, 9 times out of 10 you're going to go on to win the game. And obviously we did.
We did, and then the second half came along and we sort of returned to what I think's our form at the minute, which is this split of the one hand, when we play real sensible rugby, we're still dominant and we seem to be better than other teams, especially those outside the top 6, but even teams around us at times were really up there. But then we try and get a bit flashy, a bit showy, and on the one hand, we made quite a few errors that were a bit stupid, and the way we defended our line was phenomenal, and I was really pleased at how we turned back off those errors and defended the line, did really well. But then we also, across the game, conceded 2 long-range tries that we didn't need to concede, and the cause for worry was some of the teams that you're coming up against. You know, Wire tomorrow night, Toulouse on the weekend with some of the players they've got, like, and you want to watch out for that. And I think, in all fairness, that Peter's sort of summed it up quite nicely, and I'm not trying to rush us through the section, but he did say, disappointed in some things, we take the win and we move on. This is a critical and tough 10-day period for us. And it really is, because we want to win these 3 games, come out of it and look forward to Wigan. That's where we want to be. And it was we won convincingly. And when I reflected on it and watched it back, I thought, well, actually, Catalans had to start playing a bit like the Harlem Globetrotters. They had to start throwing the ball around because they wasn't breaking us down. And there's nothing really like a sort of wounded dog, is there, when you're playing against them. You know, you talk about lowering your standards. We sort of lowered ourselves to their wild style of attack when they was already at half time, you know, 4 tries to 1 down, 3 tries to 1 down even. And we got sucked in a bit, and overall, I came out of it and I went, I'm really pleased. We won the game. I want us to tighten up a bit and try and be a bit more consistent. I felt like we was good for 55, 60 minutes. We was off the pace for 20, 25 maybe. But yeah, there was a few standouts for me. I thought Broadbent went really well. Obviously, it always helps if you score 2 tries, but him coming out of backfield did really well. I thought Hadley had a great game. There's been a bit of a question mark over Dino recently. Just a few, the head knocks, the injuries, in and out of the doctor's office. And I feel as though he was kind of back on form. Didn't take a backward step and was a pivotal part of a couple of tries as well. And then the other one, was Budgie. A few questions on Budgie missing a game and a few recently. Seems to have really upped his form and coming into sort of his top level at the right time. He's now scored 18 tries in his last 17 appearances. Some strike rate at that, isn't it? And if you're going to come good, it's a good time to come good when you've got this sort of potential push for the playoffs and what's going to happen at the end of the season. And in all fairness, it set us up now to go into tomorrow night's Wire, where we win that, we're fair tomorrow night. So all of a sudden it's gone from...
How?
Well, because we've got a game in hand and we're tied on points with the 2 teams above us, which are Leigh and Wire.
Yeah, it's just that the last time I looked at the league, I think you were like 6th. And now you're saying, oh, you're going to be fair. And like, yeah, fair enough. All credit to you for the work that you've been putting in.
I didn't realise either quite how many of the better teams they'd played and how many poorer teams they still had to play.
Yeah. This is the point that I tried to say this a few weeks back, that the reality is, we're Rovers. We've got, I think it's ranked the third easiest out of the 7 teams that can still play in the playoffs. So we haven't got the easiest, we haven't got the hardest, we're towards the middle. But it's on the easier side of coming into the end of the season. We've already played some tough teams. We've played some tough teams away as well. We've still got some tough games coming up. But also, we found ourselves sat 6th with a game in hand, with the best second best points difference in the league, and a good run coming up where we would start to find some form. And it felt a bit like, in a nice way, we got a little bit wrote off. And I quite liked it. I quite liked people forgetting about Rovers, because the reality was, we only had to string together 4 or 5 wins. And we I think this week on what the Love Rugby League does, where they do the your consistency rating, what's it called?
Form
on the form rating. We was back up at 2nd or 3rd. We're only beaten by 1 team that's unbeaten. I think it's Wigan is unbeaten in the last 10, whereas we've lost 1 in the last 10 or something to that effect. And yeah, it sets us up really nicely to be, all right, we've still got to go out there and beat Wire, but it is at home. And if we do it, we've then got to lose and we can still be in a good position. So yeah, there isn't many talking points on the game itself. I know I've rattled through quite a bit there, other than it was job done, it was well done. The only disappointment came the 2 long-range tries, and also, granted Thursday night, but we lost the atmosphere a bit towards the end. There was a few that left the ground early, and every team has this, but there was quite a few that sort of went, game's wrapped up, 76, 77 minutes, I'll nip out and try and beat the traffic and so on. That wasn't great to see, and I personally, I like to stay to the very end, give them a clap. And also, yeah, better teams might take advantage of some of the errors we made, and also a bit of a weak link in those long-range tries. You know, Bradford got one against us, Catalan have done 2 against us, Wyre have got some speed at back, especially in the amount of youngsters they've got, and coming up next week, Toulouse have got that, which we'll talk about in the preview. So, nervy on that front, but overall I was pleased. So I don't know if you've got on that, Craig. I know you weren't there, but
yeah, just tidy up a couple of the points, put my point across on them. Like Jimmy, you mentioned there about us being 6th the last time you looked at the league table, but this is what me and Josh have said over the past few weeks, that we are quietly building, and evidently we're going under the radar, which again Josh has just mentioned that it's a good place to be, because we don't hold them all now, but within the last 6 months we've held all 4 trophies at the same time, and that brings a lot of pressure in itself. And now people have sort of, like Josh just referred to then, they're sort of not paying us any attention, and that suits us perfectly. We'll just go about our business and we'll be thereabouts at the end of the season, which I think if you was offered it at the start of the season, you'd snap somebody's hand off, for me.
I think it's there's also the point of you've gone under the radar, I think, because you started the season relatively poorly. Aside from your World Club Challenge victory, you had that loss to York at the beginning, and then you had that slump sort of after Vegas. You obviously had the Vegas result, which wasn't great for you, and then you've kind of like stayed in that sort of mid-table sort of region, and now you are building into the playoffs, which you could be forgiven for looking into the playoffs and being excited about it, really.
Well, yeah, you look at previous years and you talk about teams who build towards the playoffs. Wigan have done it, Leeds have done it, Saints have done it over numerous seasons. Leeds have won it from 5th because they've hit that peak form at the right time. And hopefully, from what we've seen in the last few weeks, we continue to keep doing that and then reach our best in 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks time, whatever, last couple of games of the season, really hit our straps and kick on into the playoffs. And Josh, you mentioned about the second half. My take on that was there was a lot of reshuffle in the second half. Davis went off with a head injury, so we had to have a little bit of a reshuffle during the game, which is always more difficult. And
you're right, sorry to interrupt you. There was one moment when me and Susan were looking across and I said, Hiku's gone to that wing. Who's his centre? And it was Carl Lawton. That's a very unheard of partnership for your centre and wing.
If I'm right, I think Minchella came on for Davis for his HIA, so that'd explain why all basically everyone just got shuffled
shifted
out
across one. Yeah, but I mean, any team's going to struggle where you're losing that structure, because Hiku's not going to run the same lines as what Davis does. Lawton's not going to run the same lines as Hiku does at centre, so you are going to get that little bit of disruption, but we handled it. And if for me, you're only conceding long-range tries, that's not a negative to me. Yeah, you can class it as we switched off a little bit, like Hiku jammed in for the Staines try, I think. But for me, if it's taking something like that to break us down, that's a very, very strong position to be in, is my opinion on that.
Like I said, again, going into this week, we still had the best line breaks, conceded, we had the fewest and so on. So yeah, slight difference on that. I just want a quick point on that before I'll go back to you, Craig. But when you look at Rovers' season, you look at the results, quietly going about the business in some ways, the York loss at the start, big distraction with the World Club Challenge. After that, we've only lost to teams that are going to finish in playoff positions, and we've beat everybody below that. So, all right, on the one hand, you're not as good as those around you, but we've beat some of them. We've beat Wyre, we've beat Lee, we've lost to Wyre, we've lost to Lee one, I think it's even pieces. We've beat Saints, who I know they're 7th, but they are challenging after they've beaten Wakey. We've lost by 2 points to Wakey. We've beat Wigan massively when they played kids, but we've got to play Wigan away. There's this thing of actually, we're in that competitive mix, and because we always had a game to make up, because we always had a game in hand, and we played some of the tougher teams to start off with, we never got that chance to move up. It was like, oh, Rovers are outside, or they're just 6th, or they're 5th, oh, points difference, they're not back down, and all this. And now we're actually coming to the business end of the season, you can look through and go, it's quite a strong season really for Rovers, and if we end up finishing 3rd or 4th, that's quite a good effort going into the playoffs and gives you a good chance. we could still miss out. There's a chance. There are 7 teams that could make it, and Saints made a statement victory this weekend by beating Wakey. But the reality is, we've got a real good chance, and it isn't that we're just going to scrape in and finish 6th by the looks of it. So I'm pleased, and I think that we can build on that this coming week, set us up nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. We took 2 wins from these next 2, and we're in a very, very strong position going into, obviously, Wigan away. But then after that, like you've said, it's a fairly favourable run of games that we've got. So we're putting ourselves in a very advantageous position. So we can't really grumble, can we, to be honest? But I did just want to point out, because I remember before when I was like, oh, this has gone wrong, and you was like, but like the job was done, you switched off, and I think it was Richard said turned into Prime Josh. So basically on the commentary he turned around and he said, like, Rovers are winning and winning convincingly, but yet we're talking about the negatives in this second half. That's a sign of where we are as a club, that these little drop-offs in performance are noticed, more so than, say, if it was a team towards the lower echelons of the league. So
yeah, I get that.
Just wanted to put that across. So that's it really on the games. Just a quick roundup to go. So the women's final game of the season unfortunately ended in a heavy defeat away at London Broncos, 70 points to 4. I think London are second in the league, just behind Manchester Swinton. So there's no great shame in that. They're a well-established side, so fair play to the women. They've had a good crack at it this season. The academy went down 12-26 against St Helens. Also sounded like they had a good crack at it. The wheelchair actually came out with a victory, 84-16 against Salford. And their final game is this Saturday. I was speaking to Matt Filmingham, who's, I believe, is the captain of the wheelchair side, and he sent me the score and he said, just in case the foundation hadn't put it on. Lo and behold, they hadn't, much to our, I say chagrin, but regular annoyance, shall we say. Their final game is this weekend at home on Saturday, maybe 2 p.m, maybe 1 p.m. We'll confirm on Wednesday at the Warby Centre. Entry's free, so if you're at a loose end, fancy seeing something different, watch out on the socials and things like that, and keep an eye out and get yourself down. I think I might try and pop down before I go to work. So yeah, that's it from us.
Bragging Rights is proudly sponsored by Comscaf. Hull's own Comscaf have been keeping things safe and steady for over 30 years, providing professional scaffolding services nationwide. If you need a team you can trust for your next project, big or small, head to comscaf.co.uk or give them a call on 01482 782 181.
Let's talk about...
Let's cheer the pod up a little bit, shall we?
I just love the fact that Abel's like, not wearing my FC shirt this week. Can I have it last week when we won, but you're not getting it this week?
I won't be wearing it very much then, will I?
No.
Your mum washed that shirt for you.
Abel has made it apparent that it was my fault we lost, because I didn't go to the Saints away game and we won, and then I went to Castleford at home and we lost. So it's all my fault.
How many of the games at home, or how many of our other games this season have you gone to? And how many have we lost?
Do you know what? I was on the cruise when we played Leeds and we beat Leeds. I'd have to go through, but I have missed a couple of games this year.
It is a jab, I don't mean it to be, but your wins are on one hand, aren't they? Have you won 5 this year?
6.
Now? Have you gone to 6?
Yeah.
So it would be
still
quite
on one hand in Westall.
It'd be quite easy to work out if you was in presence or not.
Yeah, I've not seen all the wins. I'll admit that. But what just a meteor back down to earth that was after.
Cliff Edge comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean after what was a relatively good performance against, fair enough, a Saints team that didn't turn up, to then churn out that when last week we commended the team on their effort and the fact that they built off the back of effort and effort alone. And this week, where was it? We leave it in whatever county St Helens is in.
Lancashire.
Is it Lancashire? Merseyside. It's Merseyside, yeah. But just what a load of shit. That's the only way. That's the best way I can describe it. Is that was a load of shit.
I can't really disagree, but I
Try.
was good. I went through like player performances afterwards, and I was like, I couldn't really like pick many that had like bad games. It was just the whole team like level was just low.
I can if you want.
So it was the fullback, the winger, the centre, the other winger.
No, I think I do get your point.
Like I mean, to look at, like, I would say our second rows basically played like they did against Saints.
Yeah, I can't,
I would
once
say,
again I can't fault Batch and O'Neill.
No, I would say the backs were largely okay. I didn't think.
I found Martin rusty again.
Clunky was the word.
Maybe, but I still don't think he did anything hugely wrong. I still think he brought the ball well out of backfield, which is a big part of the winger's game these days. I kind of thought we missed Briscoe in that regard, to be honest, in terms of like bringing it out from backfield, given we basically got rolled by Cass for the full first half down the middle, which was concerning because they're not really renowned for having a large pack, and they seem to do it with ease.
Let me preface this question for you then. In terms of your performance in the game, I felt that you didn't get the rub of the green a lot. I felt that Cass got it more than you, which happens in sport. I felt they got more decisions their way than you did, but I didn't think it was particularly egregious, but I did think they did.
We need to find another one.
I know we do. I was trying to think of a different one then as I was saying it. I felt as though Cass wanted it more than Saints did the previous week, so there was much more up for it. But last week, I was sort of urging you to make sure you gave FC the credit and didn't say what you just said, that, you know, you can only play what's in front of you, Saints didn't turn up or whatever. Because it was a good performance, and yet, does that now bring back sort of a comparison to last week where you go, Saints actually were that bad? Because if you don't think you played much differently, is it just the sake of Cass wanted it more this week and Saints were really that bad?
I thought it was more a case of, I feel like a few players had like exceptional performances given their form, how they've appeared so far this year. So I would say SAS had his best game of the year probably at Saints. I thought it was very much more not a Saints performance from him this week, and that showed, so that's maybe a point or two less, however you choose to grade the players on their performance. I thought Bell didn't have a great game after having a very good game against Saints.
I've got a point on Bell, and it's if Asiata's playing there, for example, they're both the type of player that can slot in at 13, get in at first receiver, sling the ball out. They can both do that very well, right? The difference is, and the one thing that winds me up a little bit about Bell is, if the ball ends up in his hands, do you know when you're not expecting it, it's like, oh shit, what do I do? For me, if I'm playing in the pack, which I ended up doing to the later end of my playing years, I'm going to put that ball under my wing, I'm just going to fucking run it. But Bell has this habit of thinking, no, I'm going to prance around like a pony, go left and right, and then lose meters. And what are you doing? Just, you've got the ball, you're not expecting it. Don't look for a pass, mate. Just go. Just hit the floor and, just go. Just find the ground as quick as you can, get back up, play the ball, go. But the way that he does it, he kind of fannies around, jumps around, and then gets tackled, losing meters. He gets put on his back, he can't find his feet quick enough, and that just slows everything down. And he does really, it grinds on me when he does it. Really grinds on me.
As a forward, I can't disagree with that. Like, you're a forward, fucking run.
Yeah.
Don't dance around, don't try any daft shit, leave that to your halfbacks and your backs. Just get your head down and just burrow forward, like, just crack on.
And it's little silly things like that, and it's not just Bell. I'm just picking him out because you mentioned him. It's not just Bell that does it, but it's those little things that will put you on the back foot, that will stop you getting on the front foot, and ultimately, and it's a game with 4 points in it. It's them little decisions that can win and lose you a game.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. We both teams scored 3 tries. They nailed 2 conversions, 12-1, and they knocked a penalty on top of it. So that's your 4 points there. So you can explain it in.
So it's Caesar's fault.
No, maybe. It's hard because obviously there's the glaring decision with the Barron interception, isn't there? Which.
Oh, that was soft.
In a low-scoring game, it fundamentally changes how, because they Cask get an extra 2 points for that because they just knocked a penalty over for that soft late hit, I think it was called. And obviously we lost 4.
Hands on the shoulder.
We lost 4, potentially 6 with a conversion, so it's up to an 8-point swing, but more realistically a 6-point swing. That wins us the game on the night.
It's real hard, that one, because Batch does so well to then, because he has been playing well for you, and I know he did an interview this week talking about he's been waiting for a couple of years to get into a run of form where he hasn't got these niggling injuries where they're not big enough to keep him out for half a season, but like the couple he's had for you already where it's just 4 games, 5 games. He's finally doing that, he's stepping up, he's starting to look good. He scored a good try for you this week, he scored a good try for you last week, I believe. He's really starting to hit that, but he's also at fault for the very soft error, but you can't put yourself in that position. It only feels particularly naughty because it's such a tight game and it's called back because you've managed to score a try from it. When that happens in all the other games, we tend to turn around and point at the people and say, don't do that. That's not possible, that's not acceptable.
Yeah. I mean, the other minor thing from my perspective too was the fact that we literally had a prop get a ball on the 10-yard line with no planned move, no like cleverness from hooker. He literally got past the ball and he ran 10 yards and ran over Moy. And neither Hill, I think it was Batchelor, seeing as you mentioned it, or on either side of him, neither of them, because our defence was so passive in that first half, neither of them thought, oh yeah, let's stop the big guy running at the little guy on his own line. And you concede that try, and then obviously conceding from dummy half's just like, it's the worst, isn't it? In the second half, and obviously that's 2 of the tries in the game, of 3, where you go, you can stop them. That's not good play from Cass to do that, that's poor on FC's part, and it's just mistakes that are causing that.
Poor goal, Andy. That's what it is. You're not playing for the player next to you. And that's indicative of the attitude.
Yeah, so just before we go around and have a bit more discussion, because I'm assuming Jimmy wants his 5 pence on the...
Nah, fuck it.
the incident. Like, you mentioned there about poor decisions a bit earlier on. You mentioned about a lack of sort of go forward and game plan, and a couple of other things that you've also sort of spoken about. Hardacre, that's what he brings for you. He doesn't play, you've lost all of that. Everything goes through him.
Yeah,
he leads.
Even with him this season, we've still had performances like this for the majority of the year.
It wouldn't have been as noticeable as it was against Castleford had you had Acre, I don't feel.
Me personally, that smacks more of either the plan isn't there or the players don't believe in the game plan or something to that effect, because why wouldn't you do that?
But we had the same thing with Hadley. You take Hadley out, and because he's such a big cog in what Rovers do, both attacking and defensively, you take that big cog out, and it's noticeable.
I think Hadley's a much bigger cog for you than Hardacre is for us, just in terms of the amount of work that he does. Like Hardacre's influence and leadership, I'm not doubting, but he often plays at centre, so he might stifle a couple of attacks on like back end of the tackle count. He's not doing graft in the middle. And he's all at centre. He's not realistically going to be saying, "Oh yeah, you're taking drive number 2 in because I'm going to take 3 in or whatever."
You've also
it's not his place to do that, really. Not in my head.
You've also got to look at it, and whilst I do agree to a point, losing Hardacre, yeah, it is a loss on that edge, but you've still got Batch, who's 31, Bell, who I think is 30 odd. You've got Caesar, who's your captain, who's playing, who's in his 30s. You've got experienced players across the pitch. Obviously, not a massive amount of them, you know. And one of the biggest voices on the pitch in Asiata in there. I get that, but we've still got enough experience on the pitch to, I think, negate losing one player on an edge. And you know that the players that have got the experience are playing in more central positions, in more influential positions. So whilst I do agree to a point, I don't think we can pin this down on Hardacre not being there and not playing. And it's hard to pin it down. I mean, we've been trying to pin it down all year. You know,
the past 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. What have we played now? 23 games.
Like that.
And we've won 6.
Yeah.
So the 17 weeks of the year we've been trying to pin down why we can't seem to get more points on the board.
I do think on this point, you're probably touching on something that is correct, but maybe there's a little bit more to it in terms of it's not just Hardacre. He was on about Briscoe as well missing, in terms of these leadership positions across the different areas of the field that help keep the young lads' heads up, help keep stuff structured. On a game where, for me, I thought Jake Arthur was very poor. I wasn't impressed. I know Hull Live gave him a 3 out of 10, fine. Like, that's maybe a bit harsh, but he had a couple of sloppy bits in there for me.
I think both the halves got 3s.
Yeah, but then Caesar as well. We're going to talk about the reason why it's a massive distraction, what happened, the announcement beforehand of that game in the news. But you've got a player for me that's been so inconsistent who only plays when he wants to. If Caesar's on one of his I can't be bothered moods, which it appeared he was, if Arthur's playing how he usually plays, in my opinion, which is distinctly average, he's still not showing me as a Super League level halfback, right? He's not putting enough in. You can't be winning 6 games a year and showing that that guy's going to do something special. Hence why he keeps him up moving him to loose man, etc., or partnering with someone else. If they're not turning up, 2 of your older heads that bring all that experience and that support for the rest of them aren't turning up. I get what you're saying, there's heads in there like Bell, but there isn't actually that much more experience in there. It's still a bunch of younger people that, whilst they've had good performances in the last 3 or 4 years, they are looking around for an experienced head to G them up. And you're missing quite a few of them. And if your halfbacks' heads are down, Bell's having a stinker, and you've got no Hardacre or Briscoe, who is going to put their hand up and start leading the team? Yeah. And there is only what's coming back to.
Yeah, and I think we had a discussion. I don't know if it was us or if it was Dean and cousin Josh that I was talking to about it. But like the discussion was, why are we announcing Cherry Evans the day before our game?
It was in our
and not on our game. And at the time, I kind of thought, no, that's the right thing, because you don't want a big signing like that announced at half-time during your game and distracting everyone. But I think in that case, like, you've got Caesar who's like, well, yeah, I'm leaving anyway, whatever, so yeah, all the fans are getting excited about this guy, they don't care about me, whatever. Then you've got Arthur, who's, up until a couple of weeks ago, bearing in mind, they announced the signing on Thursday. Cherry Evans signed his contract on the Tuesday, so it was only 2 days after he'd signed the contract that it was announced. We don't know how long the discussions were happening beforehand, but the last I heard, it was Price at 6 and Arthur at 7 next year. And that, if that was the case in Arthur's head, well, that's just flipped in the space of a week, and he's maybe thinking, what? But what I will say is, I can't put a lot of blame on the halves. Yeah, they both got a 3, probably around that for me, 3, 4, maybe 5 at best. But if you pack out making inroads, yeah, if you pack out creating that space for you to play, it's not all you can do anyway, especially when you've got such a slow distribution from dummy half that we had, at least for the first 20 minutes. And yeah, Cust's a little bit faster, but he's still not got the best distribution off the floor from dummy half. So
I think 3s is particularly harsh. Don't get me wrong, I don't think there were that many great performances on either side, really. It was very much a 6 and 7's day for both teams, for the most part. But, I mean, I know I don't particularly like the stat, but Arthur got 2 assists off the 2 kicks. Now, I'm not saying that's great, but it's also not bad. It's certainly not 3 out of 10 for me. And I personally don't like getting halfbacks getting assists, specifically 4 kicks, especially the second one, because it's just a bomb up into the air, into the corner, that falls nicely, but they get given for everything else, so it is an assist technically.
So we've touched it.
You think we should record them stats differently? Because we got into the stats topic a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
Just agreeing with you, the pack didn't turn up for the most part, so we were rolled constantly, and then you can put as good an halfback as you want. If you're getting beat up front, the best halfback in the world, they'll get you a try or 2, but they ain't going to turn the game around on their own. So
I don't know what your running looks like. My final question I'll ask you today, gents. Do you genuinely feel as though actually finishing bottom is a real possibility now? Because I didn't see it for you, and I really didn't. But do you now feel like it is?
Well, I'll give my point on that, and then I'll let Abel give his. We've got Catalan, Warrington, Toulouse, and Leeds. 3 of them, well, 2 of them games are really not easy, and Catalan and Toulouse are both away in France. So that's 4 games where you can forgive the people thinking we're going to lose. And Huddersfield are on a 4-game winning run. So I think finishing bottom is going to happen.
No comment.
All right, I'll round us up.
Does that fence there?
Yeah. He's getting splinters sat on it. Right, under 18s this week won 30 points to 22 away at Lee. I want to point out at one point we trailed 22 points to 6. So that is a 24-point swing back in our favour. The reserves lost 66-4 to Leeds. The wheelchair team, someone please, I'm not taking the piss when I ask this question, I genuinely want to know the answer to this. The wheelchair team lost 18 points to 99. I don't know if that's an error or what, but I don't know how you're meant to kick a drop goal in wheelchair rugby. And I'm not taking the mick, like how do you get 1 point in wheelchair rugby? Like I don't know how it works. I've never watched it, so I don't get it.
Not 100% sure, but I wonder if there's a sort of action you can do that imitates a drop goal without actually dropping it onto the floor.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe.
If that's how it is, I was
when
genuinely
the
looking at that
conversions,
like, what?
That's how you kick a conversion.
When the
It's teed up
converter is
here.
on the tee and you punch it over.
Maybe you can do. Let's find out.
Yeah, let's
So is
find
that
out.
Aussie roll style then we're thinking? Basically,
Yeah,
just drop it on your hand like type
Basically,
thing.
yeah. But we'll find out, and if someone knows,
I'm
let
sure
us know.
Matt will let
Yeah.
me know when I...
And then finally,
speaks to me, so.
our women's team came out victorious against Castleford, 40 points to 8.
Tribal Kingswood is proud to be the home of the Bragging Rights podcast. Whether you're looking for fantastic food, great drinks, or the perfect place to watch live sport, Tribal has you covered. Catch every Super League fixture, all the Premier League football matches, major darts tournaments, blockbuster boxing events, and so much more. And it's not just about the sport. With regular pub quizzes, family days, and guest DJs taking place throughout the year. And if you're a Hull FC or Hull KR season ticket holder, simply show your season pass to receive 15% off your entire food and drink bill. For great food, great sport, and a fantastic atmosphere, make Tribal Kingswood your next destination.
Ready for some quick fire rugby league news around the world before we'll get to a big news topic, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. One that isn't doing the rounds yet, but I'm hoping it will do. Do people remember Dale Ferguson? Played for Wakey, played for Rovers briefly.
Yeah.
It appears that over the weekend, Dale was involved in helping save the life of a 5-year-old girl that had fallen into some deep water. Dived in, no hesitation, went in, saved her, started on with CPR, helping the people around him, and saved the young girl's life. And this has not been reported widely yet, but I've seen it come through the grapevine, and I'm hoping that, you know, this starts getting a bit more attention, because what fantastic. And apparently when they asked who he was and what he did, he'd mentioned that he used to play a little bit of rugby. And then this woman who was a witness and helped out has Googled him afterwards and gone, that's not just a little bit of rugby.
That's very modest.
Very modest. But yeah, good work from Dale there. Spoke last week about saying let's not get too excited about the NRL takeover, there's still quite a ways to go. The media then tried to make a mug out of me by saying there was presenting a deal this week just gone, which they did, which by all accounts has been reported as quite negative, very poor on the financial side, and comes with an investment plan that doesn't favour the Super League too well. I will say this is the first offer that's been tabled. There is a lot out there from different ex-players, current players, managers, etc., giving their £2 worth on this. It is worth looking into, but it does feel as though, unless we're willing to take a poor deal, we are quite a ways off getting this done and over the line. So at least talks are ongoing. Then the London Broncos, they've actually finally lost for the first time this year. They lost to Oldham, 34-24. Incredible game by all accounts. They will not finish the season unbeaten, which it looks like for a long time they will do. But very well done to Oldham, who now strengthen their... it's not quite the playoff charge, because it is the playoffs, but there's no promotion, but it is still the playoff charge. So well done to Oldham. And then we'll get to the big stuff. There's been a lot of signing news this week. So from Tyrrell Sloan signing for Castleford and then saying that what he really wanted was an NRL stay. Nothing like being positive about your new club that you haven't signed for. Leeds immediately signed Matt Lodge to come back from North Queensland Cowboys. He comes immediately to help their playoff charge, see how they get on. Sydney Roosters legend Daniel Tupou has declined offers for the Super League. It's going back and forth this, so he still might come, but it looks like he will find a position in the in NRL, not come to Super League. FC have announced that Isaac Louis just tonight is an official signing now on a 1-year deal. That was heavily rumoured. And also announced that Denise Barnforth will come back from his loan in York for the 2027 season. And also, Costa signed, but also Amir Burrow will be going to Catalan by all accounts. That one hasn't officially made it over the line, but it's very... Has it gone official now?
Yeah, it's announced now. Yeah.
Perfect. But however, as I'm sure you're aware, and we're doing it this way so there's a bit of time to talk about it, the biggest signing news of the week was that Dali Cherry Evans is signed to Hull FC on a 1-year deal in 2027. The 37-year-old, who will be 38 when he comes over, widely considered one of the best playmakers in the game, probably in our history as well, I would say. He's represented Australia, he's captained Queensland in the State of Origin. He's still performing to a very high level right now with Sydney Roosters. He comes with a list of names of people around him in the Super League era, not to mention ones before him, but in Super League, Andrew Johns, Jamie Lyon, Steve Menzies. There are a lot of people there that have come across and done something. However, he's got to come first, but it's definitely FC's biggest ever Super League signing. It's definitely in the top 5 of their signings club, but it's massive for Super League and the sport and for Hull FC, so let's have a bit of chat on that, gents.
Yeah, I think in my time watching FC, 100% by far and away the biggest signing we've ever made in the 20 years that I've been following FC. I don't think anyone comes close. I know there's people comparing his influence potentially to something like what Stephen Kearney brought in 2005, and whilst I agree with that, I still think the name, what he's achieved in the game, it blows everyone away, personally. For I don't know if it was consecutive, I think it was maybe a year in the middle where he missed out, but it was 4 years post 30 years old as well, captaining Queensland to State of Origin victory. I think he's got two World Cup winning medals. Like, I mean, what's this guy not done?
Well, he's not done it on a cold Thursday night in Hull.
No, he's not.
We're about to find out if he can.
Yeah, he is, yeah. But I've batted a lot of people back this week who have some on our side that have maybe don't watch the NRL that much, don't understand what he's achieved, what he's done, and are just looking at the number in the age column. Batted them back 100%. All you had to do was watch that Roosters Penrith game last week and see that he was by far and away the player of the match. I think he got player of the week as well for the NRL after that performance. And it's not just that one performance either. He hasn't missed a game this year. He's playing for the team that are top of the NRL, and he just doesn't look out of place. Like I said it to someone the other day, and they were like, "Oh, you're going a bit far with that." And I thought about it, and no, I'm not. He is currently rugby league's Ronaldo. At the age he's performing.
That's only because Reece Walsh has just got injured.
No, because Reece Walsh is a kid. Ronaldo's 40-odd year old. Dali Cherry Evans is 37, soon to be 38, and he's still performing at that level. Like that, that's what I'm going on about. Like the fact that he's continuing to perform at the highest level, week in, week out, in the best competition in the world. He's not buggered off to Saudi to go play in a. Well, I mean, he has now, but he will be next year. But I could not think of a better player after it was announced. I tried. I could not think of a better player to come and influence our culture, influence the professionalism, and I've mentioned it before, build a legacy, not just for himself, but at our club, a legacy of professionalism for our youth to aim towards. And I think that's the biggest point of this signing. It's not what he achieves next year. It's about what we build off the back of that and what we show our youth as this is what you want to be, this is how you have to live, this is how you have to eat, this is how you have to train. Be that guy. And if our kids can build on the back of that, that'll be what we take from this signing, not the 1 year.
No, and what you're saying, because I'll give you my thoughts on it, I'm I think he's fantastic. I rate the guy. All the plaudits speak for themselves. Everything you're saying is correct. Particularly amused because my dad is a big Manly fan. And he was gutted when he left Manly, and now my dad might have to find himself going to the Circle because he genuinely loves this guy. But it's about being realistic about what you're signing. He's 37, he'll be 38, I get that, yeah. You have to surround this guy with talent around him, a pack that can do something, a team that can play off him to achieve something. There will be a lot of comparisons made to Rovers' signing of Jared Weir-Hargreaves last year, and it's completely different, not just because they are different players and they are playing a different position. We had a team that was competing and getting to finals. We had a team that had just lost the grand final. We had a team that had been to every final in the previous 2 years but not quite got over the line. We needed that extra edge to get over it. If you're expecting this guy to come and win everything, that's a very far off thought. What he will do though, as you've said, is that professionalism, that how to live, how to be a rugby league player and live and breathe it rather than just it's something I do. And you do need to protect him, you do need to surround him with quality players, and your recruitment process is even more interesting now. Who you get rid of, who you keep, who gets the starting slots. But what he will do, he will kick anyone to death, he will stand back and play in a dinner suit, and he will play really, really well. But you only have him for 1 year. So it is about the legacy, and you've got to be realistic and say, right, playoffs has got to be a must next year, but also what does it mean for the next 2, 3, 4 years? If you're expecting this guy to come and go, well, JWH did it for them. No, he was the missing final jigsaw piece of the puzzle. He's the edges of your jigsaw puzzle, really. And it does make me baffled a few more decisions, not to go into detail now, people like Litton, who could really benefit, is the right age to have somebody of this ilk, letting them go. But it also goes back to the point of last week I was saying about what does this all mean about getting rid of players. This guy won't be on a small amount of money, and you will need to get rid of players to bring him in. And hence why some decisions are being made and we're hearing rumours about other players going. Regardless of all that, if Hull FC are truly doing another rebuild, you can't really put a better player in to help your rebuild and to help younger people for the future. And if FC fans can just temper their expectations and go, this is the start of us building for the next few years, not we'll be grand finalists next year, I think you'll go a very long way and you should have a much better Hull FC than you've seen in the last few years. And importantly, probably going to put bums on seats that you wasn't going to get because of how dire you've been this year. So it's huge for Super League, it's huge for the city of Hull. And yeah, I'm buzzing with it, I think it's fantastic.
I mean, I can't really say a whole lot more than what you said. It's you can't really, arguably we've signed the best halfback in the world if he's playing starting halfback for the best team in the NRL.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's arguably the best halfback.
Josh is going to counter you with Tyrone.
You can't argue that Nathan Cleary is the best halfback in the world. It's the same as just saying that, like, he won 4 State of Origins in a row. Go back and look at his rating playing for Queensland the last few years.
I agree. I do agree.
Because he was shite.
And he was rubbish. He was dragged by a powerful team around him. That doesn't take away from the fact that right now at Roosters, he's performing very highly.
He's also got a quality halfback.
But he's also got a young 23-year-old in front of him that's doing a lot of graft for him.
I don't watch loads of NRL, so I can't really.
So yeah, but he's one of the best, but he's not the best halfback in the world.
Well, we tried getting Cleary, and he turned it down.
So he got his dad instead.
But yeah, like I say, what more can you say about the guy? I recognise the name, so I was like, is he still playing? Because he is up there. Like I remember watching bits of NRL when I was a lot younger and going, that's the new guy. You know, that was the guy that was coming after Thurston. Was it Thurston the guy?
Yeah, he took over at Queensland there.
Yeah. So, like I say, he's been around. He's what hasn't he done that you can do as a rugby league player?
He's not won the Super League Grand Final yet.
Anything that matters.
He's not made it through training at Hull University for all I've seen.
Never
That's
played
the biggest worry.
in the Challenge Cup final.
He hasn't won a league Leaders' Shield, which is the most important trophy in the world.
It is indeed.
Apparently, according to you two, if we didn't win it last year, we wouldn't care.
Yeah,
I stand by that. I do stand by it. I'm not going to get dragged into that. But anyway, talk to us about your opinions on Delhi Cherry Evans.
I don't like him.
Because he plays for FC, or no, because you're a Rabbitohs fan.
I am a Rabbitohs fan, but I didn't like him when he was at Manly. Yeah, you can ask my early. There's just something about him. I don't like. There's no doubt in his.
I was like that about Gareth Ellis until we signed him. I didn't like Gareth Ellis.
Like there's just something about him I just can't seem to get on with. You know, you're not going to like everybody. You know, nobody can like everybody, and it's not just because he stands for all that. Just gives me a reason to dislike him even more. But there's no doubt in it. He is class. He's world class.
He is.
You know, even I can put that sort of dislike of him to a side and go, you've got a great signing there. Like, but the issue is, we've had this discussion before about players. Can they cope with the weather change? Can they cope with the lifestyle change? You know, it's massive. I know it's only for a year, and people have done it. I'm not saying they haven't, but there's also other stuff, like off the field stuff, that you need to take into account.
I get it. I went to Sydney for a fortnight, and I struggle being in England now. Like, and I was only there for a fortnight.
When you're living in Manly Warringah or then in Sydney or wherever he is now, you know, with what they've got there compared to, no offence, but compared to what we've got here, it's night and day, isn't it? Like, can he do it? That we had discussions around Abdul when he went to Catalan regarding the weather, about the injuries and things like that. Warm weather is injury recovery. Cold weather exacerbates injury issues. Not that he's been injured or anything like that, but at his age he is going to be more prone to injuries. And like you say, the proof will be in the pudding. It's all well and good as us going now, all these negatives or whatever, all these positives.
We should have let you go first, mate, because this is depressing me.
It's just realistic.
It's because I've opened his eyes to the flip side of it. It's not all these stars and lights.
No, I get it. I do get it. And I worry when people go on about the fact that 15, 16 years in the NRL, 18 games missed for injury. Like, I worry when people say that.
Yeah,
because
like,
I'm like, this guy's going to come across here, he's going to train over the winter, he's going to experience -5 and still be expected to go outside, and his hamstrings are going to go from this to that, and he's going to turn into Jed Cartwright.
I think it's a really
hopefully not, touch wood,
subject in terms of FC fans are right to be excited about it. I think Rugby League fans are right to be excited about it. Rovers fans, we're going to get tired with the thing. If we bring up anything negative, it's going to be you're just jealous, and it isn't that. Paul Cook sat on this podcast and said these players only come over at the back end of their career for one of several reasons. It's a massive payday because they can't get a gig in the NRL.
Well, he's one of them, because he could get a gig in the NRL.
Or they've done something wrong. They've been a naughty boy and they need to escape. Well, he's a consummate professional, so he's done nothing wrong. He is getting a massive payday, right? But he could probably still get more in the NRL. And the way he's performing right now, he probably still could command a higher salary in the NRL. But the reality is, he will still be 38. And he is untested in the cold weather and all this. We will see. I believe he wants to come across because he wants his legacy to be having that extra shine to it. He came and did it in England as well. He came to the north of England and did it as well, because some other greats have had a go at doing that. Your Andrew Johns of the world and things like that. And he's seen players like JWH win it over there, come over here and win everything. And I think in his head he'd like to do that, because that's how much he thinks of himself in the right way. That's how much professionalism and skill he brings to a team. The only worry is you throw loads of money at him, what money have you got left for the players around him, and what happens when the injuries start and the results don't start going your way? Because what is success for you next year now? Really, a bare minimum's got to be playoffs. It's got to be a Challenge Cup semi-final or final.
I'd say that the Challenge Cup for me is hit or miss. You never know what's going to happen in the cup competition.
It's a lottery, isn't it? That's what I said.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, in the league, it's got to be a minimum of the playoffs. In terms of the money, it don't make a difference, because there's only going to be 150 grand of what he's getting paid on the cap, whether we're paying him $1 million or whatever. I think it's rumoured to be $1 million, which is like 650 grand or whatever. If that's true, fair enough. Like 150 grand of that will count on the cap, and the rest can come out of the owner's pocket because he's loaded.
It all makes sense. That's why your screens didn't work this weekend. Just saving on electricity to pay his wage. Yes, we'll wrap up and finish. That was with a nice. Let us know your thoughts on DC, everybody, because I think it's going to be nice and split. I think most people generally excited to see the guy. It is a big wait and see. We'll find out when he comes, but massive for Hull, massive for FC, obviously, massive for Rugby League. Hope he goes well. Touch wood, he stays injury-free as he has done most of his year, and we're going to see something real special. So, but let us know in the comments. Let us know how you feel. But that was Rugby League news with an extra little bit on the end around the world this week.
Right, so we're going to move on to, we're going to skip the comment section because we have spoken quite heavily in the news and we are strapped for time. We're going to move on to this month's monthly cause, but Josh has got something he wants to say first before I recap what our cause is this month.
Just a real quick shout out, just because it pertains to the M&D Association, and we always like to go on about when we can. So, member of my extended family from my wife, but we've mentioned them before, but it's Nick Shipley, but his son Lucas. Lucas has dedicated himself currently to doing his own 7 in 7 challenge. He wants to do something to raise money for not just for the M&D Association, but also for the York Rugby League Football Club Association. So, mentioned before, they live out in York, go to York and FC games. And what Lucas is doing, so he's only 10 years old. His 7 in 7 challenge right now is 7 kilometres a day for 7 days straight. He started it on Sunday and he's doing it currently. All the money's been split 50-50 going to York Rugby League and then 50% going to the M&D Association. This is more for awareness than anything. He has got a page out there you can go and support and put money in. It will all go to local Rugby League, York Rugby League and to M&D. But just wanted to give him a shout out. So best of luck to Lucas. He's doing really well. He's already completed his first 2 days. He's eager as a beaver to get this done. And it's no small feat for a 10-year-old, day after day getting out there. It's his own 7 in 7 challenge. And York themselves will be doing something at half-time to help talk about this and celebrate him this weekend. So look forward to seeing that. So well done, Lucas. And yeah, have a look if you want to put some money in or even just give a shout out, spread the word. Anything for M&D, we're all for.
I mean, fair play to him because I did one 10k and I don't want to do it again. He's doing 7 in 7 days.
Yeah, that's
just short,
especially for a 10-year-old.
And 10 years old as well.
We can get something shared. We can put it in the description of the video as well, and on like Spotify, Apple Music as well. So you can copy and paste or click on that. We'll get that shared as well. But on to this month's monthly sponsor, monthly cause. So we are supporting the Dove House Hospice on Chamberlain Road, and this is off the back of one of our viewers, Mark, who has written in, sent a note in to Dean, who he works with as well, and it's off the back of Mark sadly lost his mum recently, and she spent the last few weeks of her life at the Dove House Hospice on Chamberlain Road. And for Mark, it was a bit of an eye-opener, not necessarily to see someone receiving palliative care, but to see the level of care that goes into it. And I think the surprise for him, one of the main surprises for him at the end, at the back of it all, was 90% of the funding for Dove House Hospice comes from donations. 10% comes from the NHS. So he described it as a like a heartwarming kind of experience to see the level of care, the level of detail that goes in from the nurses and the staff that are working there and supporting people at the end of their life. But yeah, we really want to get behind it. We really want to support it. So there is a QR code at the bottom of the screen. There is a link in the description. And I think it'd be really helpful for them to get as many donations as they can, because, as Mark said, it is the type of place that you cannot and will not appreciate until you need it. So this month, Dove House Hospice, Chamberlain Road.
So we've done the Wire preview last week, touched on it briefly. Obviously, we're going to play them tomorrow night, but the next one will be Toulouse at home on Saturday. And yeah, big turnaround after a tough week or two, back-to-back games. We won't know injuries, fatigue, anything like that till the game tomorrow night against Wire. But looking forward to Toulouse. For me, possibly more rotation. More players getting some game time, hopefully, as we've seen. Maybe players getting bigger minutes, like luckily getting a good stint this week just gone. Things like that.
5 minutes, according to Abel.
Yeah. He also didn't believe us when I put the team out and was like, oh, luckily starting's good. And then he was like, sent it as well and put confirmed. As if we was wrong. But all I see is we need to see what happens at Wire, so there's not a lot to say. My only big stuff on it is we still don't know if Ollie Ashall bought will be back or not, because he's almost week to week with his injury and they haven't quite announced it yet. So we're not entirely sure. I worry that Toulouse do have a bit of strike on the outsides, and we had 2 long-range tries conceded, so I don't want that to happen again. But overall, for me, I want us to go in, beat Wire if we can, go in really confident, and hopefully we have that edge being at home, so I'm not too worried yet about them.
Yeah, there is obviously a little bit just for the Warrington game. No injuries, I don't think, out of Thursday night, and no disciplinary, so clean slate. And I think if you look at our team sheet for tomorrow, I know everyone going to talk about it, it's pretty much 1 through 17.
Yeah, then we'll rotate again for Toulouse is my...
Quite possibly, so...
Not that Wire will tell us who we're playing. Still yet to announce a squad.
Are they really?
They might have done it in the time I've travelled here, but at 4 p.m. today it still wasn't out as far as I could see.
I was looking at our Instagram and thinking, him over there ain't done his job right and ain't shared the Wire team. And yeah, fair enough.
I read a comment online from a Wire fan saying, when are we going to announce this? Like, this ain't on. So I expect it at some point tonight.
Yeah, fair enough. So clean bill of health for us, and then again, we can't really say too much on the Toulouse game until after tomorrow night's game, but hopefully come out clean bill of health, no disciplinary. Hopefully Mikey keeps his head on tomorrow and don't lose it again.
Unbeaten without Mikey, so does that mean we'll lose against Wire?
Quite possibly.
The rest of Super League will implode.
Quite possibly, but yeah, like you said, Toulouse have got a bit of strike. Obviously, Ashel Bott is their talisman, isn't he? He makes them.
They've announced it. Now. Yeah, their team's out now.
Everything sort of goes through him. He's their link. He ties it all together for him. He can play that link role, or he can play that up the middle role, depending on how he's needed. So
he basically is their span. And that isn't to discredit the players around, because Toulouse have got some real good players, some young and some older heads helping out. But he is the X factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, we like to see the best players on a pitch. We like to. I always say to beat the best you got. To be the best, you got to beat the best. So you want to play the best version of every team that's there. So hopefully, like I say, come out tomorrow night unscathed, and then go into the Toulouse game and hopefully, from what is a very, very difficult period for us, come out with 3 out of 3, and then look forward to Wigan.
Absolutely. Just a quick shout out for me in terms of a preview, not our first team, but when we talk about the other teams, coming up this Sunday, our Foundation Walking Rugby team are playing in a tournament at York. A lot of the clubs are putting the teams forward. I know Wire are going, FC are going, York themselves will be there. It's something that the clubs up and down the country, but Rovers in particular, I'm aware of because my old man players, have been pushing to get this more and more involved and get more games. There's rules to it. There's certain things you can and can't do. Trying to get actual referees and players in to get involved. It's growing legs a bit more. And this tournament.
Can you put a shot on in walking rugby?
No.
No, all right.
You couldn't do one in real rugby, pal, so you're not going to do it in walking rugby. But yeah, just shouts that, and that's good. And people that are down at York, I'm sure they'll enjoy that. But it's just nice to have another area of rugby league where people of different abilities and different levels of fitness and age can join in as well. But yeah, look forward to that this weekend. So a lot going on in Rovers this week, but hopefully we come out of it shining with victories.
I think we can do this in under 2 minutes, Jim.
Well, I'm going to leave that in, and then the viewers can decide if we succeeded. Yeah. What do you reckon?
I think we can get beat.
Well, we'll find out in the predictions that I also think we're going to get beat. But I'm not going.
Oh, come on, ye faithful.
Well, Catalans are better at home. I think Cartwright will have a point to prove, given how things happened with us. And we can't turn in more than 20 minutes in a game, except against Saints, apparently. So I expect we'll put up a good fist of it like we seem to do. But I can't see us having enough quality to do the damage. And I see Catalans winning somewhat comfortably in the end by like maybe a couple of scores.
Yeah, I can't really add or take away anything from that, to be honest. And I do think emphasis on, I really think Cartwright's going to have a point to prove. I don't think he's going to go as far as what he did with sending us out at Craven Park to go bash hell out of Rovers for a laugh at the end of the 2025 season. I don't think he's going to go that far, because I definitely feel like that was a thing. Whether anyone admits that he did that or not, it definitely looked like it. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's genuinely going to try and just pick on our weaknesses. He knows our weaknesses. You know, he's the guy that led our team for the best part of a year and a half, and he knows our players, he knows our weaknesses, he knows our strengths, and yeah, I can really see him picking.
It'll be funny if he just targets Borough all game long.
Yeah, but the thing is though, Borough defensively is not the issue. Borough in attack is the issue. If he sends someone out and says, go get under his skin, yeah, fair enough, you've won yourself a couple of penalties.
Yeah. This is really pushing my 2-minute theory right now.
Sorry, we're done. No, we're not.
By that logic, I think Catalans are just going to give us the ball and say, go on, let Borough have the ball.
But then again, Borough only got 20 minutes against Cass.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's injured.
No.
So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, whether he got took off from a performance issue or what. I don't know. I would like to see it. I don't think I'm going to see it, but I would like to see us start with Cust and have Hutchinson on the bench. I've been praying for more of Hutchinson on the field for the entire season, but it's just not going to happen, I don't feel. But I really would like that, especially now that it's confirmed that Burrow's going to count.
I 100% agree on that. Why wouldn't you give the minutes to an up-and-coming young lad from your own, like, academy, whatever, when you know the guy's leaving? Like, it's not even in question anymore. So
email the club, we make things happen.
We don't have to email them, we just say it on the pod.
I'm really amused. Everything you said echoes how I feel it's probably going to go. You said fair under your breath as you were saying it. We're all agreed. So next week we will probably be reviewing an FC win. Because that is just what you do this year.
Craig's time to shine.
So, no wooden spoon or golden cap as is, but I'm going to give you a top and a bottom just because I feel like it.
Oh yeah, because technically your game's...
Yeah, so this round isn't technically finished yet. Bazza0385, who's Bazza Kingston, he's currently top on course for the golden cap with 9.83 points. And then Rolling Robin Elsie, who I found out tonight is actually Matt's daughter. Matt Felmingham's daughter.
Nice.
Is on course for the wooden spoon with 1.5 points. Apparently, so I messaged Matt before we started and he put, her phone was left behind when we went on holiday, she deserves what she deserves. Ruthless parenting, I absolutely love it. And then he's put, I said, am I alright to shout her out with her being a junior? And he's put, absolutely fine. She's buzzing to get the spoon, and then a photo of her with a wooden spoon. and then the comment underneath really made me chuckle. And if she avoids it, she's getting it anyway. So
brilliant.
Fair play, Matt. Nice. I thoroughly enjoyed that message. Our standings then, Susan's still top, 141.5, but he's slipped down the overall standings to roughly 9th at a quick glance. I didn't count them down because I couldn't be bothered. Dean on 137.08, Jimmy in third on 124.66, myself on 118 dead, and Josh on 117.25. So
it's a jump between me and Dean. Like Dean's catching Susan.
And 13 points.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but Susan's stopped talking about winning the league recently. But Dean's catching, and we are just like meandering.
Loitering,
like
you're
the three of us.
to the finish, and we're both trying not to finish.
No, I think the three of us are all still in that race.
6 points.
I am loitering with intent. Let's be clear here.
Fair enough. You're a chav outside a corner shop, waiting to strike.
No comment.
To ask for someone to buy you some seats.
You'll have to read in my autobiography, years 10 to 17 for that part.
Class. Right then, this week's fixtures, starting us off with Lee versus Bradford. I've gone for Lee by 16, Dean's got Lee by 20, and Susan's got Lee by 14.
Lee by 20.
Lee by 18.
Lee by 18.
Lee across the board. Wigan versus Wakefield. Me and Dean have both got Wigan by 8, and Susan's got Wigan by 12.
Wigan by 14.
Wigan 10.
Wigan 16.
Pretty close there, again, across the board. St Helens, Castleford, I've got Saints by 22, Dean's got Saints by 14, and Susan's got Saints by 10.
I've got Saints by 10.
Saints by 8.
Saints by 18.
All Saints then, we're up. Who was it in the group said we've all been very vanilla this week? Was it Dean?
Yeah, there's only one difference, I think, in the entire...
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a bit. Hull KR versus Toulouse. I've got Rovers by 14. Dean's got us by 13. Susan's got us by 14.
Rovers by 16.
Rovers 14.
Rovers 30 as well.
You message each of your predictions.
Nope, not talking to him. He's not in the country. Don't deserve it.
Fair enough. Catalans versus Hull. Me and Dean have both got Catalans by 10, and Susan's got Catalan by 6.
Catalan by 12.
Catalan by 6.
Catalan by 4.
Very
You said
close.
they'd win by a couple of scores.
Yeah, no, I've already put the thing on the group.
Okay, fair play.
Can't go back
It's
on it
coming to the
now.
world of technical.
So just to clarify to people, we predict the scores, lock them in, and then we talk about it. We can't talk about it until they're locked in.
Yep. Warrington versus Huddersfield. This is where the minor discrepancy occurs. So Dean has Warrington by 10, Susan has them by 14, and I've got Huddersfield by 4.
Yeah, I'm going Wire by 14.
Warrington by 12.
I'm right in the middle, Warrington by 13.
Yeah, what?
Well, he said 14, you said 12, I said 13. I'm right in the middle.
Numbers, we'll explain them later, Paul. Don't worry about them.
I had 30, sorry.
No, 1-3.
That was the last one.
I also had 30 that time as well. I just didn't call him on that one.
Final game of the round, York versus Leeds. I've got Leeds by 20, and Susan and Dean have both got Leeds by 18.
Leeds by 24.
Leeds by 20.
I've got a small Leeds win. I've got Leeds by 7. Feel like they're not firing on all cylinders at the minute, and York might have a point to prove.
Possible. I just think with the Huddersfield game, just to clarify why I've said what I said.
You just don't want them to finish bottom. We get it.
No, not even that. Like you've said, they're on a run. They're on the same form as Warrington, according to the form guide. 4 wins in the last 5.
And you're going to bash Warrington about tomorrow.
They're going to come all guns blazing. Are they going to have enough in the tank to go another game against Huddersfield, who have it a bit of form, finding the straps, as we like to say? So that's why I've got
We said it before, and we'll say it again. We are unfortunate in the fact that we make our predictions now, and then you watch tomorrow night's game and you never know what's going to happen, and Wire could have 10 injuries and you'd want to change your prediction. Rovers could have 10 injuries. There could be 10 bans from tomorrow night's game. We actually spoke, me and Susan spoke to my old man. He changed his Wakey and Leeds prediction at like 7:59 p.m. the night of the game.
Whereas we're not.
Whereas we aren't allowed to do that. So we do take that with a bit of, a pinch of whatever. So
Makes it fun.
makes it a bit fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. Anyway.
Over to you, Abel, James Abel.
Oh, do you know my full name? Just thanks again for Tribal for hosting, Comscaf for sponsoring. Give us a good rating wherever you listen to us, on whatever format you consume this. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and hype if you're on mobile, because it really helps out. And that's it. See you bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.
Ding, 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 ding.